I'm back. Recording's on, and let's play. Let's play. Let's check the crime scene report first. Um, hey. So, victim was located in his office, seated on a chair behind the desk, soaked in blood with an obvious chest wound. Paper spike, desk accessory, 150 millimeters long, protruding from an approximate region of victim's heart. Time of death estimated to be between half to 9 and half to 11. Okay. Okay, so there's nothing else for us here. Claire's arrest report. At 2040 hours on Tuesday, 8th November, myself and PC 9725 Holt responded to call from neighbor of the Bower House, Whetstone Park Avenue. Concerning a reported disturbance, we arrived at the address and knocked on the front door, but there was no reply. We then examined the rear of the property and gained entry through insecure patio doors. We entered the property through this door, and I announced myself by shouting "Police!" but I did not hear any response. We searched the premises. Upon entering the dining room, I saw a female seated next to a man who was lying on the ground. The man did not appear to be conscious. Both persons were drenched in blood, and there was a substantial amount of blood on the carpet, walls, and furniture. I noted what appeared to be a steak knife on the floor, which was also covered in blood. At this point, I asked the woman to put her hands on her head, which she did. PC Holt secured the female while I checked the man for signs of life, but found none. I asked the woman her name, and she identified herself to me as Claire Castle. I asked if she knew the dead man, and she said he was her husband, David Castleford. I asked what had happened, and she said that she had killed him. Following a search PC Holt, which revealed no other persons present at the house, I said to Castleford at 2052, "You are under arrest on suspicion of murder." Then I cautioned her and placed her in the back of the police car for transport. Blah blah blah. Okay, so Claire is just a murderer, just flat out murderer.
Yeah.
So let's ask about that. Yeah. Have you seen your arrest
It makes for
report?
interesting reading, doesn't it? I can tell you're dying to ask me about it. Fire away.
Okay.
That's what it says. I can see you're confused. The police say that David is dead, fatally wounded when I stabbed him. The coroner says that David is dead. Everyone says that David is dead. There was even a funeral. But I know he's alive.
Okay.
Mm.
He's buried at Hanley Church. You can go see for yourself. There's even a headstone. One of your other patients was a pallbearer. I never forget her face. You should ask him.
Probably Price.
Yeah, probably.
David wanted to have a talk about our relationship. Not something any married person wants to hear. He said he'd been with Iris for about a year and that he loved her. He said he didn't love me anymore. Which I know is a lie. You don't just fall out of love with somebody. I reacted badly. I grabbed the nearest weapon I could find, which happened to be the steak knife, and stabbed him with it. There was so much blood.
I have a freeze problem again.
Oh dear. Let me fix that.
I fixed him.
Okay.
How did you?
Okay now.
It was about a week later. I brought David back to life. Not with voodoo, not with virginal sacrifice. I just willed it to happen, and it did. Dr. Dekker told me it was possible, but only if you're not buried. He says once you're in the ground, There's no coming back. But until then, you have a chance at resurrection.
Well, this gal's clearly insane.
Yes, resurrection.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen the results, I don't think there's anything holy about it. I think reanimation is more an accurate term. Like, I'm an evil necromancer raising things from the dead. I think his brain was already decaying during the week that he was dead. Important bits. So when I brought him back to life, I didn't heal him completely. Just gave him life in the state he was in. I mean, he's hunting and killing things and trying to roast them on fires he can only light with matches, but that's about it. He's your basic Neanderthal. So I have a problem.
Okay.
I'm being charged with murder because the police don't know he's still alive, and I can't get David to vouch for me for obvious reasons. I think it would raise quite a few more questions than answers, which is why I'm hoping that you'd be able to help me. Considering the circumstances, I'd be grateful if you could see your way to declaring me temporarily insane at the time of the murder, to lessen my sentence. Because I'm not a killer, but I can't prove otherwise. You don't still think I'm a killer, do you, Doctor?
Yes, I do. Yes, you're a killer. Which one should we go with? I don't want to die. Let's say she's a killer. I think she is.
At worst, it's manslaughter. I didn't mean to kill him, I just stabbed him.
I didn't mean to kill
And although
him.
he was dead for a week, I brought him back to life. Does this mean you won't help me? Was I temporarily insane?
Which one should we go with?
Well, I
And
think she was kinda crazy, but I'm not sure
I think
which one we should pick.
she could be temporarily insane.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. That's all I needed to hear. From you or Dr. Dekker. But Dr. Dekker wouldn't do that for me. He wanted something else.
Okay.
Dr. Dekker teased me mercilessly about my eligibility. He didn't believe I'd reanimated David. Once, he presented me with a dead mouse and commanded me to give it life again. I didn't, of course. It's not something I'd throw around lightly. He changed his mind about me eventually. And then he mentioned the girl. He told me he'd locked up a girl in the basement of his house, just for me, and he asked me to reanimate her. It was Iris.
What?
I said I couldn't reanimate something that wasn't dead, and he said that wouldn't be a problem.
Oh
So
dear.
I agreed. I just played along. I was hoping it wasn't real. I assumed it wasn't real. But he was offering me what I wanted, a temporary insanity diagnosis.
Hey?
It didn't happen. Dr. Dekker called me from his house to cancel. He was furious. He said that Iris had escaped and he blamed me for it. He said that I must have set her free after he told me about her. I knew it was all lies anyways. He was obviously titillating himself by reprimanding me. He knew I'd never want to speak to Iris again, so I couldn't prove it either way.
So all the people are crazy
Or
they
have
actually
superpowers.
have abilities.
Yeah. Exactly. Pretty insane.
Bryce was a pallbearer for David. He's also a gravedigger, I believe. Smuggling a body out of a funeral can be difficult, unless you pay the right people.
Okay.
Dr. Dekker asked if I could prove David wasn't dead, so I took him to the lake house. He saw that I was telling the truth. I can take you to see him too, if you like. Would you like to see David, Doctor?
Do we want to see David? I think so.
Yes, we do.
Very well. In our next session.
I have a bad feeling about this. I've got a real bad feeling about this.
Well, kinda, but also it would verify some facts if
That's true.
we see him.
Yeah. How are
I've
you
been to the
today?
lake house regularly, keeping an eye on David. I saw the girl again, the one I told you about. She was playing outside.
Okay.
It sounds to me as if Dr. Dekker's murder was a spur of the moment thing. If you were planning to kill someone, you'd bring a weapon with you, wouldn't you? I imagine that the paper spike made a very good weapon, though. It could look quite menacing, glinting in the moonlight.
Lovely.
So quick to jump to conclusion, Doctor. Obviously, I meant sunlight.
Yeah, about that. I don't believe one bit of what she's saying.
She is kinda creepy.
Very much so. Shall we talk to Claire a little bit more? Do we want to chat with her a little bit more?
I don't know what to talk with.
Talk about,
her.
yeah. There's quite a few things actually.
It makes for interesting reading, doesn't it? I can tell you're dying to ask me about it. Fire away.
Hmm. Neighbor.
My neighbours seem far more interested in my business than they are their own. The lake house only has one house opposite, and it was on sale for some time. I suppose I should have bought it. I didn't speak to her this time. Something about her made me feel uneasy. I just watched her from the bedroom window. She'd caught a fish. She was holding it in her hands. I wasn't close enough to see, but for all intents and purposes, it looked as if the fish bit her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive.
Don't be so creepy, please.
Yeah.
How astute, Doctor. Yes, I did say I hadn't seen Dr. Dekker outside of our sessions. That wasn't a lie. Our trip to the lake house was made during a session.
Okay.
You tell me. What could possibly explain that?
Okay. Uh.
I assure you, David is not a ghost. I've touched him.
Okay.
Since I brought him back, I felt that there was something different about him, something not quite right. I think it's his brain. But how ludicrous that you can bring someone back in the first place. It's like that book, Pet Cemetery.
Oh.
Funnily enough, he does smell of earth, but that's because he spends most of his time out hunting.
Lex is in the chat. Lex is actually the one who bought this game for me, so that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Oh, I hope he's enjoying this. We're just abusing this system because it's easier to go through this, so.
If David doesn't exist, then that means that I really did kill him. He really is buried, and I really should be going to prison for a very long time. That just doesn't seem right to me. It's more probable that I reanimated him under Dr. Dekker's guidance.
How so? Let's see. There's quite a few things that we haven't asked her.
I didn't speak to her this time. Something about her made me feel uneasy.
What about her made you feel uneasy?
Try asking me something I might.
Well, screw you then.
I didn't speak to her this time. Something about her made me feel uneasy. I just watched her from the bedroom window.
Bedroom window.
Oh, I found the key. It must have been there all along, in a drawer in the hallway. I could have sworn I'd looked there already.
Do you know what problem I have?
Oh dear. Fixed.
Thank you.
You tell me. What could possibly explain that?
Zombie?
Yes, he did come back to life, but he's not a zombie. He looks like he always did. Just his mind is encumbered. There's no way back. David wanted to have a talk about our relationship. Not something any married person wants to hear. He said he'd been with Iris for about a year and that he loved her. He said
Do you still love David?
Think, Doctor, think.
Warm up.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Thanks.
What was it?
A brother's beer. That sounded wrong. I don't mean it like... Don't take it the wrong way. Jesus. So I was thinking that me and my little brother, we might do a drunk cast today. So we probably won't be able to complete the game today, but we'll play at least for 1 or 2 more hours.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Something more about the arrest report. Blood?
It's a messy business, stabbing someone. You'd
Don't
imagine that
say.
it would be like slicing into a pie with all the filling just slowly oozing out, but it's so much more dramatic, like popping a cork of a bottle of champagne.
That's a
Blood
lovely way to
sprayed
describe
everywhere.
it.
Oh, I found the key. It must have been there all along, in a drawer in the hallway. I could have sworn I'd looked there already.
Well, we have already exhausted enough of the dialogue, so we don't really need to do more with her. So I really want to continue as much with the game as possible. So, we don't need to talk to Professor Warwick, but maybe we should, just in case.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Professor Warwick, I'm a physicist. Where's Dr. Dekker?
Dekker
Is he
is
really?
dead.
Actually dead? Not a worthy adversary after all, then.
Adversary. What might he mean?
Dr. Dekker challenged me. He tried to use my theories against me. Quantum theories.
Okay.
Do you really want to know? Dekker's eyes used to glaze over whenever we talked about that.
Oh, do you know what
He
happened?
didn't believe in quantum physics. As if it's something that you can optionally believe in.
Thanks.
Well, it started with an experiment. Have you heard of quantum suicide, Doctor?
Nope.
Quantum suicide is a thought experiment that tries to explain the many worlds theory. You're looking at me blankly. I can see that you don't understand. I knew you wouldn't. Alternate universes. Essentially, if I were to shoot myself, then in some alternate universe, I'd still be alive. Now imagine if I could actually choose that universe. I'm taking a product off a supermarket shelf. Well, I simply applied that logic to something different.
This is interesting.
Gambling. I set up an experiment whereby I would visit a casino and place a very large bet at a roulette table. Now, I would always bet on odd. Now, the results of this particular experiment were mundane. I won as many times as you would expect according to the laws of probability, but then I changed a parameter.
Okay.
Quantum suicide required a loss of life to make it a realistic thought experiment. So I simply upped the stakes. Every time I bet on odd, I would place everything I had on that one spin of the wheel, and it worked. Well, for a while. Dr. Dekker killed it, and I can't get it back. Well, my theory, quantum gambling. If the stakes are high enough, you will win every time by simply shifting your consciousness into that branch that wins. It's tricky, but it can be done. Dr. Dekker didn't like that. He saw me becoming rich and powerful, and he hated that. That's why he proffered the hangman's paradox.
Okay.
Well, imagine a judge sentences you to death. Now,
Oh, I know
Monday
this.
or Tuesday next week. But it will be a surprise. Well, which day do you think you'll be executed?
I know about this.
Well, it can't be Tuesday, because if you're still alive on Monday at midnight, then you know you'll be executed on Tuesday, so it won't be a surprise. Conversely, it can't be Monday either, because, well, you'll be expecting it to be Monday by deduction. Hence, a paradox. Dr. Dekker tricked me.
Are you?
What?
I mean, it's a simple. I could link you a video about this later, but it's a pretty interesting thought experiment.
He told me that sometime in the future I would lose a bet, that I would lose all of my money. Now, this didn't seem likely because I had quantum gambling on my side and it was working. But he unnerved me. He made me doubt myself. And then it happened. Recently, I lost everything that I'd managed to build up since Vanessa left me. Honestly? Well, I think he feared quantum physics. He didn't like things being explained in terms of science, almost as if he'd have preferred chaos.
Oh my, where have we heard that before?
Why not gambling? My wife Vanessa left me for a neurosurgeon. She emptied our entire combined wealth into her barrister's wallet. I needed more money. Physics provided me with a solution.
Okay.
We were married for 14 years, 7 months, and 3 days. Vanessa couldn't have children, at least that's what she told me. She grounded me in reality. I'm not complaining. It's probably what I needed. But part of me always thought that one day I'd achieve immortality through science and we'd be... It wasn't to be, though.
Hey.
Well, yes, it bothered me, especially now that I find out that she's pregnant. Oh, no, it wasn't a rocket scientist that was required, but a brain surgeon, it seems. I have considered putting that neurosurgeon onto his darkest timeline, but I'm not a killer, it would seem.
Okay.
I was at a fundraiser for a charity called Mind Stretch Outreach.
Oh.
Don't know how I got roped into that, can't remember. But it was full of very clever children with bizarre outlooks on life. And Jaya. It was Jaya who asked me to go.
Okay.
It's full of poor kids with very capable minds. I did give them a talk on quantum tunneling once, and they loved it. Not sure it'll put dinner on the table for any of them, though.
I don't need to know about quantum
Oh,
tunneling.
she's
I already
Dr.
know
Dekker's
about that.
lovely assistant. I imagine she's your lovely assistant now. Yeah, she always smiles and makes me a cup of tea before a session. That smile. Which reminds me, my session. Can we talk about my problem now? Oh, you're going to have to Google that, Doctor, I'm afraid. I'm not a walking Wikipedia. I'd love to tell you, but I am paying you by the hour. Maybe look up Schrodinger's cat whilst you're there.
Okay. This is rather interesting.
I'm not a gambler, Doctor. I'm a scientist. I need more money. It's true I've run out of money for my research. An opportunity has arisen.
Okay.
A very wealthy group of individuals have offered to pay me a very large sum of money if I attend their next private soiree. They don't want to talk or anything like that. They want a practical demonstration. They'll pay me £1 million if I can successfully survive 6 rounds of Russian roulette. Now, I am worried because of what Dr. Dekker said, but, well, I can't help but thinking that the stakes are so high I can't possibly lose.
Yeah.
What do you think, Doctor? Should I take them up on their offer?
Holy shit. What do you think?
If he wants to then take it.
Yeah, take the offer.
He already wants to take it.
Yeah.
I can't lose, Doctor. Let me demonstrate.
Oh dear. So that just happened. Dr. Warwick.
That's not something I know about.
I have this feeling that there is no
I
doctor
don't know.
anymore.
I think so too. That he doesn't exist in this timeline anymore. Alright, that was interesting.
I think that's all settled now. We are agreeing to pay Ben £5,000 and he's agreeing not to say anything about what he saw.
That's a lot of money.
He thought he saw a creature coming out of Dr. Dekker's mouth. Well, at least that's the reason he's given for not emptying the bins that night. Either way, it's not the kind of publicity that we need. Shiny, happy, sane people.
Okay.
Some mornings I come into work and still expect him to be here. Sometimes it feels like he actually is here, watching over me. We had a connection. It's gone now, though. You can't have a connection with the dead, can you? Not for too long, anyway. Dr. Dekker asked me to have dinner with him for Valentine's. I refused, obviously, because you don't sleep where you eat or something like that. But it was flattering, especially with competition like Mariana around.
I don't think she's that pretty.
I was at home on my lonesome, Doctor, like I said before.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean I was competing. I was happy Mariana was going out with him. I didn't want to be romantic with him. We had a stronger connection than that.
Yes, right.
Dr. Dekker and I shared some philosophy.
We'd both read The Cult of the Kinetic Mind, and we agreed with a lot of what it said. Have you read that book, Doctor?
Nope.
In Cult of the Kinetic Mind, the author suggests that everyone is capable of psychokinesis and that the cult leaders specifically had these powers that turned their followers into disciples. It's not a fun read, but if you're into psychology, it's a blast.
Was the Dr. Dekker a cult leader?
Probably.
Because that's how I see it.
Yeah.
No, not at all in my experience. Dr. Dekker had an unusual number of patients who claimed psychokinesis. Either he'd been specifically looking for them or someone had been sending them.
Well, that's...
It's entirely possible that someone is targeting this practice with psychokinetic patients. To what end, I don't know. It's no coincidence that most psychokinetic patients are diagnosed as insane, or at least temporarily insane. It's a handy diagnosis if you're facing criminal prosecution, especially if it's for murder.
Well, we know one person who's like that. Hey Claire, got anything else to tell us? No? Okay.
Psychokinesis is the ability to change the physical world without actually touching it, just by using your mind. It's not just about bending spoons. It covers all sorts of things like telepathy, telekinesis, telesabalas. Shoot me, I'm a Kojak fan.
Do you believe in psychokinesis?
Like I said, all those cool things are in Cult of the Kinetic Mind, apart from Kojak, obviously. If you ever get a patient who thinks they can change the world with just their mind, then duck, just in case they can. But seriously, do a whole load of shrinking and make them better. Whether you believe in psychokinesis or not, you'll need to figure out your approach with those that do.
Okay.
How do you make people who think they have special powers better? Do you remain passive and support, encourage them, take them away?
What do we do?
Encourage the power.
Deepen their affliction? I wouldn't. It's in that police report that I gave to you. You should really take a look at it.
Well, that's not a lot.
I'm fine. I'm ready for my grief counselling. I emailed you Mariana's address. I don't know why you'd want it. I suppose you're going to start doing home visits now, like Dr. Dekker? Doctor, if you don't want it, don't text me and ask for it. It's all right. I don't mind doing menial tasks for you. Someone has to do them. Yes, Dr. Dekker started doing home visits for Mariana. He said she couldn't concentrate properly in his office. I hope you're not thinking of doing the same thing. I need you right where I can see you.
Why do you need me? Are you spying on me?
Checks and balances, Doctor. Somebody needs to be watching the watchman, so to speak. Make sure you're helping, not hindering.
Okay.
He probably did his fair share of helping and hindering. He was definitely helping in the beginning, but then seemed to lose sight of things.
Feels pretty good.
I think he was so overwhelmed by the patients he was getting. His curiosity just got the better of him. There was a definite turning point.
Okay.
Somewhere around the time Professor Alderby turned up, that seemed to unsettle him. And then we had a flood of extra weird patients. I think it was all too much for him. I think I misjudged him. I hope you deal with it better. Grief is such a strange word if you keep saying it. Grief, grief, grief. It sounds like somebody's being whipped. And you're going to ask me how I feel today?
I suppose I should. Except none of this is. How do you feel today? Okay, that's pointless.
Honestly, I think Dr. Dekker had a bit of a crush on Mariana, or vice versa. I'm not really sure. There's some footage from their home sessions if you want to see them.
Yes, show me the footage.
That was a joke, Doctor. I guess we found our level. Dr. Dekker did send me to see his mother once. She was dying in a nursing home and he didn't want to see her. I remember him calling her a manipulative, evil old hag. You tend not to ask any more questions after that. I didn't really speak to Nathan that much at all, but I have this strange feeling that I know him really well. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Probably because Nathan repeats days.
Oops, that was a strange thing to say, wasn't it? Whipped. Am I all whips and chains in the bedroom or dominant in the boardroom? Don't answer that, it's not a question. It's early days for a harassment suit yet, what with Ben's nervous shock already.
Okay. Except she's already done, kind of. Let's leave her be and go Bryce, Ellen, Mariana or Nathan. Which one?
I don't know.
Let's go in order. Oh, Bryce. What did you kill yet today?
Hello, Doctor. I've been thinking about our last session, and I just wanted you to know that I'm not a bad person. I know taking naked photographs is wrong, but you don't know what it's like until you face the same temptation. I'm assuming you don't know what it's like. Do you have an extra hour, Doctor?
Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. There's someone else in my hour, a hooded figure, watching me and following me. I followed it too.
Hey, well, this escalated quickly.
I don't know who it is. My initial thought was that it was you, that I told you about my affliction and somehow you'd got it too. Now I think maybe it's the military or some organization that wants to use the hour themselves. Maybe it's Dr. Dekker risen from the dead. I need to talk to you about him.
Well, he's scared.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't been approached earlier. I mean, my skills in the military. Special ops would be a breeze, wouldn't it? Waltz in past everyone during the midnight hour. Get whatever you want and return to friendly soil. It also makes me think that they might already know all of that, and that they want to get rid of me in case I tell anyone else. Would you do something for me if they get me?
Yes, I'll do something for you. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Would you tell Jessica I love her? She didn't really know me that well, but I did love her. And also, there's a hard drive in the bottom drawer of my dad's cabinet. Please destroy it. Please, don't look at it.
Yes, I will do these things for you.
I'm actually a classically trained pallbearer. There are a lot of health and safety considerations. Not everybody can do it. Well, properly at least. Occasionally I step in if the funeral director is short-shouldered. I do remember her face. She wasn't upset in the usual way. She seemed agitated. Her husband must have been a giant. The coffin was so heavy. I remember because aft port side sprained his ankle. That and he wasn't lifting correctly.
Okay.
Nobody gave me the memo that Claire was telling everybody about our arrangement. Sometimes a few slip out the back for student use too. These things happen in all cemeteries. It's best not to broadcast it.
Okay.
What?
So yeah,
I missed something.
he did smuggle the body out, and it's also for sometimes they smuggle bodies out for student use. That's
Well,
disgusting, but kind of interesting.
I spied on Dr. Dekker, not long before he was murdered. I'm not sure I should tell you what I saw in his basement.
Oh dear, I think I know what was in his basement.
I'd been feeling uneasy with Dr. Dekker for some time. I mentioned how he'd changed before, so I began spying on him at home. One night, the basement door was open, and Dekker was returning upstairs. I skipped past him, and there she was, a girl. It was difficult to tell. It was dark, and she was chained.
Okay.
I removed the chains, dressed her, and sat her in the police station. There's no evidence, though. No evidence of what he'd done. But she was free. I saved her. I'm not evil. I destroyed evil.
well,
Dr.
kinda
Dekker
true.
frequently
Yeah, but
used
that's
that paper
suspicious.
spike on his desk as an example. I'm sure he did it with the other patients too. He'd make me look at it, touch the point to see how sharp it was. He'd tell me that because I think it's sharp, it will hurt me. But if I thought it was nothing, it could pass right through my hand.
That's weird.
Whatever it is that's following me, it doesn't want to catch me yet. If I move towards it, it runs away. And when I follow it past temptations. A bar brawl, an open till, an open bedroom window. Like it's testing me.
Tell me about the board.
I split the brawl up. I did nothing. I'm not stealing any more.
Okay.
I looked in. Watching other people is somehow built into our genes, Doctor. There was an old woman in bed. I went inside. Her bed covers were smoking. I think she'd fallen asleep holding a cigarette. I took the covers and put them in the bath. She'd have died otherwise. And no, I didn't take any pictures.
Good for you. Good boy.
Common or garden rocks. It's actually quite handy sometimes having an archaeological dig going on next door. Although I'd rather there wasn't.
Okay.
I find using nautical terms to describe the position of pallbearers fitting. Plus, most of them are 3 sheets to the wind. You know, drunk.
Lol.
I put my hand through a rusty nail at work today. It hurt like hell and bled like I'd been shot. I closed my eyes and thought, this isn't happening. The nail is just a worm and it will wriggle through me. When I looked back, can you guess what I saw?
Yes, a worm.
When I looked back at my hand, it was healed. Look, see?
How in the hell?
My hand had healed. The nail had become a worm and was wriggling in my palm. It was like a little miracle, like magic. I shouldn't really say miracle or magic. They're words that Dr. Dekker used when he tried to get you to think things and make them real. But do you think it's real, Doctor? That magic is real?
Well, apparently Cthulhu is real, so...
Yeah, but I don't think the magic is real. It's something else, and it's not magic. It's something bad.
Okay, so let's say that magic isn't real.
Yeah.
And so it isn't. I envy you, Doctor. I wish I could be so sure.
That's...
Because I think, yeah, it's something else than magic.
Yeah.
Something
Jessica
else is definitely
is
going
a
on.
beautiful woman. I've not spied on her since the incident we talked about. I have real feelings for her, Doctor. We've never connected.
But a messy. Oh, okay, that's not important. Alright, we're gonna move forward from Bryce. So, shall we do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Or shall we ask these questions still?
I don't think it necessary because he creeps me out.
Okay. Well, he is rather strange.
True then. I'd heard Dr. Dekker was stabbed, but I didn't know for sure. It's weird that whoever did it would choose the paper spike.
Where is it?
Dr. Dekker used to play with it in our sessions sometimes. You know, pick it up, handle it while we talked. I remember once, he pushed the spike through his skin. Get this bit here between his thumb and his finger. He said he didn't think I'd mind the sight of blood being a nurse and all that, but actually, there wasn't any.
Okay.
I was a bit freaked out. At first, I thought it was a trick. A magic trick, you know? Like some kind of therapeutic test. Show the patient this retractable spike and see how they react. But it wasn't. The spike was real.
Okay.
Dr. Dekker gave me the paper spike to try. It wasn't fake. It was pretty sharp, actually. I don't know how he did it. He said he just thought that it wouldn't hurt him, so it didn't.
This quantum reality thing is pretty insane.
I'm okay,
Yeah.
I suppose. Works fine. Hilda's fading fast. Terry's Terry. I feel a bit sad, to be honest. I gave all my keepsakes back. Well, I've thought about it. And well, I know you said it was okay that I should keep them, but maybe it did look a bit suspicious. Me having things that have belonged to patients who've died in my care. I don't want people to get the wrong idea about me. The locket, the watch, the ring, even the little bird Sarah Dekker gave me. I wasn't supposed to mention her. Dr. Dekker's mother. She was one of my first patients, but she died a while ago.
Okay.
I know it's silly, but those things meant a lot to me. They were reminders that I'd helped those people. Hilda's nearing the end. She's been sleeping a lot, not eating much. She hasn't been that argumentative either. Although, she did give me a vicious scratch yesterday.
Yay! Achievement.
It was nothing. I was just trying to give her meds. It's hard, you know. I'm trying to help her, but she keeps fighting me. It'll be better after she's seen her daughter. I've decided I'm going to do it tonight. She hasn't got much time left.
Lovely.
You know the answer to that, Doctor. What have we been talking about? What can I do for Hilda that will make it all better?
Are you going to kill Hilda? Shall we say that just to piss her off?
No, let's not do
That's
that.
the plan. I know, it sounds unbelievable, like I'm making it up. I wish I could prove it to you somehow. We could try shifting now. Think of someone you really love. It might help if you close your eyes. Are you thinking of them? Can you picture them? Okay, hold on.
Got a bad feeling about this.
Sorry, I don't think it's going to work. On the bright side, that probably means you're not going to die anytime soon.
Yay?
It's tricky. I mean, I'll sound exactly like Hilda's daughter, but I try and keep it vague because I don't become her. I don't know what she would really say. I say things like, it's okay, don't be scared, I love you, Mum, or I love you, Dad. But it doesn't really matter what their relationship's like because it's not really them. I always do the Disney version. The best, most loving version. That's what my patients want to hear. And maybe deep down they know it's not the truth, but it's got to be better than the reality. Does it really matter if it isn't the truth? Isn't it worth it if it brings them peace? Tell me honestly, Doctor, do you really think that what I'm doing is wrong?
I would say no, it's not wrong.
Yeah.
Good, because I really feel this is something I have to do.
But I do think that it kills the patients.
Terry seems to have backed down since I gave the keepsakes back. Actually, it doesn't seem like she's been very well.
Oh dear.
Not her usual self. Maybe she's got a bug or something.
And now we're done with her as well, so...
Let's continue.
Yeah.
I've had no blackouts, and I haven't been to the beach since our last session. But I think I will today. Do you want to come with me to the beach?
No. Yes or no?
I kind of think someone
Doctor,
should.
I think you're getting a little anxious. If you ever wanted to visit the beach, you can just turn up. It's not mine.
Fair enough. How are you today?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. It's rent day, and I always feel a little blue on rent day. Rent day is the day I pay rent to my landlady.
I mean, that was obvious. Why did we have to ask that? Why did we need to ask that?
I don't know.
You've got a good memory, Doctor. Let's talk dreams. Sometimes I'll dream about a light. Deep in the ocean somewhere. I head towards it because it's warm glowing like a beacon. When I'm at the bottom, it's the most beautiful thing. Like a welcoming sun.
It's the ancient city of Relay.
Like I'm home. And then I wake up.
The girl is mermaid.
I don't know about that. You will have to ask me something. It's so beautiful. It calls me. It's like I'm in a trance. What does the dream mean, Doctor?
Maybe the dream means you're searching for something?
Yeah.
I guess. I hate being in the same place for too long. Maybe I'm always searching for paradise or something. Dr. Dekker used to put my checks on that thing. I guess someone thought they weren't getting value for money.
Lol.
I actually don't have a lot of money. Sometimes a therapy check would bounce, but Dr. Dekker would be okay with it. Oh, my checks are fine though, don't worry.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
I'm not broke. Men buy me drinks at bars though. Sometimes I'll get away with not paying at restaurants. Isn't that how it is for everybody?
You.
I mainly like drive-thrus. I don't like crowds, and I find it difficult to stay in the same place for too long. I guess I'm a fidget.
Okay.
Crowds at nightclubs and bars are different. The lights are dim. You can slink around without attracting too much attention. Sometimes I'll kiss a guy in a club, and then he just follows me. Wherever I go. It's creepy. I should want everyone seeing that.
I'm not gonna slut shame, but
They follow me wherever I go. Anywhere. Where do you think they follow me, Doctor? It depends where they follow me. If they follow me home, they bang on the door for an hour or so, then leave. Other places, they just disappear. I don't see them again.
practitioner achievement. Yay. Okay. We have already asked
They
everything.
don't just disappear into thin air. I think they return to the place I found them. But I've not run into the same person twice.
Okay, so we are done with her as well.
Yeah.
We're not gonna exhaust the dialogue because it's a lot of work.
I burned Hannah's rocking chair. The day moved forward. It was a good choice. I'm not sure I've got much left of hers now. I've burnt most of it, or given it away, just to make the days move forward. There was a moment when I was attacking a Salvation Army bin, but I gave in.
Okay.
I accidentally put Hannah's diary into a Salvation Army donation bin. They're like huge post boxes with a circular tray that makes sure things spill to the bottom. I tried to get in to get it back, but I gave up. I read the last few weeks of Hannah's diary a while ago. I must have accidentally dropped in some clothes for the Salvation Army bin. It's funny, because I wasn't going to read it. She said she'd fallen out of love with me. that she was going to break off the engagement. That she didn't love me anymore.
Oh dear.
I regretted it. I regretted that I mourned for Hannah so long. I regret the grief. I regret all the days I slept through because of it. Had I known she didn't love me anymore, things would have been different. I'm a bit angry now. If I had that day over again, I may just still pull out in front of the driver.
Oh God. What do you know about the paper spike?
I didn't notice Dr. Dekker had a paper spike. I haven't really seen more than a foot in front of me since Hannah died.
Okay.
I've told you all I know about Dr. Dekker. He started out good, then turned a bit crazy towards the end. When you start giving people more problems as a therapist, that's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
I started out with depression. Now I seem to repeat days. Even if you don't believe the repeat days, then I clearly have extra mental health problems that he's given me.
Yeah, hello. No need to wave at me. Talking to you.
I think that he possibly cursed other people, a bit like he cursed me. Sometimes you could see he was bursting to tell me about it, but he couldn't. He was ecstatic with power. Ah, the curse. Well remembered. I was hoping you'd forget. It's going to sound crazy. Dr. Dekker said I would never be able to move forward until I came to terms with my grief. And so from this point on, I start to relive the same day over and over again until I made something of it. I believed him.
That's a bit of a bad curse.
I didn't want to believe him. I remember I said, you can't just say things and they happen. He laughed and laughed. I think he was going mad. He said he'd give me a demonstration.
Okay.
He held his hand outstretched and told me to look at the flame. There was no flame, and then there was. He was holding a flame in his hand that had come out of nowhere. And he tried to hypnotize me to make me forget it. I didn't forget seeing the flame. He wanted me to forget it all, but I didn't. For whatever reason, he couldn't undo what he'd done. I was scared. I pretended like the hypnosis had worked.
Okay.
He'd become bored of me, so I got much of my insight from calls or messages he'd take during our sessions. I think because he hypnotized me, he didn't want to play with me anymore, so I got basic therapist.
That's lovely.
He told me lots of people get depression, to become more active, see more people. And although he wouldn't always be there to listen, Jaya would be. Yeah, I talked to her quite a lot. I'm not sure how many days of that she'd remember. She seemed to care, which is more I can say for Dekker. I was scared what Dr. Dekker would do to me if he found out I still knew, so I had to play along. Keep coming to the session. Pretend I hadn't seen what he'd done. It was awful, because I was suffering through the same days over and over again.
Working?
But I couldn't talk to him about it.
Good.
Because he'd know. Can we maybe not talk about Hannah anymore? And thanks for the dating advice, by the way.
Hey.
You told me not to look for anyone else until I was ready. So I didn't. I've just been sitting at home, reading Hannah's diary, stewing. I ordered a pizza. A nice girl delivered it.
Hey, we can move forward. But I want to see if I can ask Jaya about... Okay, I cannot ask about Nathan, so let's just continue.
You can stop looking at me like that. You've made me do this. And don't try and escape. We're all tied up. Now tell me the truth. Is this a dream?
What? Um,
I am pretty sure this is not a dream.
yeah.
That's the wrong answer, Doctor. This is most definitely a dream. Now, tell me, do you believe that people can have kinetic powers?
No? Let's go with no. I want
Yeah.
her to slap me again.
I think you like it when I hurt you, Doctor.
I do.
Worrying sign. People obviously have kinetic powers. That's how I'm here, testing you. Now, how do we treat people with kinetic powers? Do we encourage them or do we discourage them?
Do we want her to slap us again?
Let's do that.
Very good, Doctor.
Aw.
That's the right
I just
answer.
I knew
Remember
it was
or there
another
will be
one.
consequences.
Sorry.
Now, since I'm here, let's have a little bit of fun. Shall we, Doctor?
Oh dear. Well, that's lovely.
There's someone else in my hour.
I brought David back to life.
I removed the chains, dressed her.
It was Iris.
We could try shifting now.
Would you like to see David, Doctor?
Sorry.
We both read The Cult of the Kinetic Mind. I'm not broke. It's no coincidence that most psychokinetic patients are
Grateful if you could see your way to declaring me
insane, or at least
temporarily insane.
There was no flame. And then there was.
I'll kiss a guy,
I pretended like the hypnosis had worked.
and then he just follows me
Can we maybe not talk about Hannah anymore?
wherever I go.
You may just still pull out in front of the driver.
Okay.
Morning, Doctor. You're looking a bit unwell. Are they getting you all wound up? Well, have a look at this. I found it in Dropbox. Apparently, Dr. Dekker lent Mariana some money. Sounds dodgy, doesn't it? I also got the toxicology report back from Officer Yates, and shocker, Dr. Dekker had... Sorry, you just have to read it. I should have spoiler alert tattooed on my forehead. And can we not do the grief counselling thing today? I'm all sorts of behind on work and I'm getting more stressed out watching it all pile up. If you need anything though, I'm here.
I'm kind of interested actually to check out how many. There's a lot of two new people. I'm kind of interested to see how many chapters there are in this game.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I spoil that?
It's definitely okay for me.
Well, I'm gonna check at the very least how long to beat this game is. About 9 hours. Oh my. Probably 10 hours. Let me just check real quick whether there's like maybe in game facts.
Yeah.
Don't find not a single
Should we just pause this now and then
continue next stream.
yeah.
I think so. It's saved anyways, so
Yeah.
so next stream might be in 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
but yeah. Okay.
It was nice.
It's a very nice game. I really like it. We can actually still talk to her. Okay, but that's gonna be enough. Yeah, that's enough. Hints used 298, 89, 83. Oh dear. Yeah. We are all over halfway through though.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's gonna be enough. So,